Alright, here we go. This is my first attempt at playing Tezzeret Cruel Captain in Vintage. We're going to play Jewel Shops. I didn't do a little deck tech because, I just kind of threw this together real quick. It was my first match. I cut some interesting cards to put the Tezzerets into Jewel. Used Matthias Hardstyle's list. Cut the Simulacrum Simulator. Cut the Trinisphere. And most notably, we cut the Time Vault on accident. I don't really know what I was thinking there. But, yeah. So that was an interesting choice that we're going to live with this league. But anyway, here's just the first match. I just did a quick video of the first match, just so we can see how Tezzeret played in it. And here we go. Alright, here we go. We have turn 1 Jewel on the play with Force Will back up. Seems pretty great. We'll keep it pretty easily. We'll play our Mox, we'll play our Lotus, we'll tap it all, we'll cast a Jewel. When the Jewel resolves, we get to play, we assume that they're kind of like on air, plus we drew a PO, so now we can still protect ourselves. So we'll just go ahead and copy the Jewel, as you do. But I realized about halfway into copying the Jewel that it would make way more sense to just use mana crypt mana and save the blue mana in case we drew Ancestral or Time Walk or something that made us want the blue mana. So we do that. Copy the Jewel. Draw 3 more. We have 3 more mana available. We PO for the whole board. Probably maybe a mistake there because I could have just left the Metamorph in play to end up playing the Jewel again, but this kind of works out because now we're going to play our mana again. We're going to play Grim Monolith. This gives us our Tezzeret Cruel Captain. We can then untap the Monolith. And my thought was, okay, so I have 2 planes. I'm about to have 2 Planeswalkers in play. I'm going to have Force of Will if my opponent tries to do something crazy. I have just a ton going on for the first turn of the game, and I can make this Karn, which covers like all the PO decks, and I can put a Needle into play to cover Bazaar. Like, I just have so many things taken care of on turn 1 with this setup. So I go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and get the Needle out of the board. We'll play it. We'll name Bazaar Baghdad. I mean, I didn't check to see what my opponent usually plays, but I figured, that's the thing that comes back from this, right? Is a really good Bazaar turn. So we play the Bazaar. I'm feeling pretty good here with our Force of Will. We'll go ahead and discard City of Traders. We have lands barreled up, ready to go. And yeah, that's our first turn with Tezzeret. First league, first game, first turn. Get to put it into play. Now we'll pass to our opponent, who is going to think for a minute. I'm not saying this board state is airtight, but we have a 7-card hand. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in play. 2 of them Planeswalkers that give us advantage over time. It's a pretty rough situation to be the opponent. I don't know. This was kind of a force check in because we only had the Jewel on turn 1, but we did have the Force to back it up. So, sometimes you just get the really good hands, and it's a good thing. So they're gonna think for a few minutes, then they come out with a Workshop, Mana Vault. We're definitely not countering because we have Karn in play. I don't know why I'm hesitating to hit OK here. I think I thought about it and then realized Karn was in play. I was like, yeah, whatever. Then here comes. I don't know why they did this first, because their next play is Apache Boy, they could have done this in the other order, but it's not going to matter really, because I mean the patch works fine. Because even with the Jewels aren't in play, right? Number 1, it does threaten our Planeswalkers, but we can just use Karn to go get a Wormcoil Engine here and feel pretty good about our spot and still have all these Force of Wills. And because we have a Metamorph, we can copy the Wormcoil. So, I think that's what I end up deciding is the way forward here. What I don't realize at the time is that trying to combo off is not the way forward, because I don't, in fact, have a Time Vault in my deck, which we'll come back to that point later. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did. So we'll untap. We will slam our Wormcoil down to protect our Planeswalkers. But then we're going to say to ourselves, what's better than one Wormcoil? It's clearly two. So we'll play our Talon's Gates for no value. You know, he's got the Patchy Boy, which we can't blink. It wouldn't matter if we could, because it'd just come back. And we'll go down to 9 and make one Wormcoil into 2. And our Tezzeret gets a little bigger. And we'll pass the turn. And they're up with their Patchy Boy. Their Mana Vault, good news, they don't have to pay to untap it. That's nice. Because it's untapped. Welcome. So they're thinking still, they're going to play a Tolarian Academy, which is about the scariest card they could play, into a Tezzeret. You know, think about this. And like, I mean, I could force it. I only have the one force right now. The thing I thought they would probably go get that was scariest to me was like Manifold Key, but they don't. They play a second Patchwork. And instead of getting a Manifold Key, they're going to go get a They're thinking about it. See, I think they might could have gotten a Manifold Key here and it would have been better. But they get a Vexing Bauble, which I counter anyway because, like, I don't know. I just don't want them to have a Vexing Bauble in case I need to PO a bunch to find my Time Vault that's not my deck. So they pass. We have our two Wormy Boys. Now here's where we draw a cool one. It's going to be a Time Walk. So what we're going to do here is attack for 12, gain 12. They don't block because their blocks aren't very good, and they have, you know, life points to spare currently. Excuse me for that. There's a lot of pollen where I live. We're just gonna cast our Time Walk. Then we're going to untap our Mana Vault, or our Grim Monolith, excuse me. We're gonna play a Ring. Ring's gonna put another counter back on Tezzeret. We're gonna draw a card and they're off it. Okay, great. Let's go to sideboard. Here I kind of make a little bit of a boo-boo because I kind of put them on Sphere Shops, and so I sideboard like Sphere Shops. I bring in the creatures. I take out the Karn because you know, activated abilities. The Vexing Bauble's really not that great on the play. I cut a Tezzeret just because they had lots of creatures, and we cut a couple of rings in case they bring in Null Rods. Or they find a Null Rod, because Null Rod's really good. We bring in Hercules, we bring in a couple of Force of Negations, you know, just to stop the spheres, the dreaded spheres. And yeah, that's our sideboard plan, because I'm thinking they're Sphere Shops. So here we get a hand that has only Mana Crypt for mana, and it has a Force of Will, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's a real roll of the dice to keep this. Obviously, if you find like a Sink into Stupor on top and you can cast the Ancestral, it gets really good. But like, this is way too speculative. Plus, like, it just dies hard to Null Rod or, I mean, I guess I can counter their first piece of interaction. Okay, here we have a hand that has nothing going on except for an Urza Saga and a Forge of Will. But this is enough mana that, like, say we rip a Jewel or a Ring or whatever, we can just play it on turn 1. However, opponent's going to play their own Lotus. Never not scary. And then They play a chalice on 0, which we can't counter. And I'm good. I'm off it. Like, let's just save our time and energy here. Since we have... I mean, we did still have the Saga, plus, and we were drawing a Tellurian Academy that wouldn't have done anything because our artifacts would all gotten countered, right? Conceivably, we could have played turn 1 Workshop Grim Monolith into turn 2 Urza's Saga. I don't know. There was a sequence there that gave me Saga tokens, but it didn't feel like I was going to win that game. I kind of had it in my head I was just going to get wastelanded out anyway if I tried that plan. So we go back to sideboard, and yeah. Let's go to game 3. So here we have a hand that has Force of Negation, no blue card, but it's a turn 2 Jewel, so we're gonna roll with it. Like, you can't always have a turn 1 Jewel. That's would be nice, but no. So I think to myself that Mindbreak Trap is the scariest thing they could do here and Wasteland, because again, I'm under the illusion that this is a Sphere Shop deck. So we'll play our 2 spells, and then, so we don't get Wastelanded out of the game, or out of our ability to play a Jewel. If this gets Mindbreak Trapped, we'll play the Ancient Tomb. I'd rather than waste that. So we're good here. We pass. We have a lot of mana in play. Obviously not quite 6, but still. So they play a Saga. It's a little scary. They think for a minute. Opponent's very doing a good job of making tight plays. Like playing this Disruptor Flute before I have a chance to play something. So he's going to Disruptor Flute. And they name Paradoxical Outcome. Smart name. We immediately draw the card, of course. But the thing is, what we were building to kind of was PO. Yeah, sure, that would be great. But this Jewel will be fine. So we'll play the Jewel. Excuse me again. We'll draw our 3. Oh, look. It's Tezzy Boy. Let's draw 3 more, because drawing 3 was fun. Then we can play a Mox. We can use all of this. Not all of it, but some of it. We'll leave the blue mana floating. We'll cast another Jewel. Now we have like 2 POs and a Masticore in our hand. We'll make another Jewel. We're in kind of great shape here. Now that we have a blue card for our Force, I mean, we're more than happy to chuck up PO since it's under the thing. And now we have 2 Forces to go with our original Force. We will play a Tezzeret, because we can. We'll use... Interestingly, I don't think I search with Tezzeret at all this match. Like, because, like, you know, you look at that ability and you're like, dang, that's so strong. But then, like, the other abilities are also really good in this sort of a matchup. So we'll play our Ring with 1 floating. We'll draw a card. We'll play a Mox. And then that lets us not draw now, or untap and draw now with our floating mana. So we'll just let it go, and then we can draw on their turn. So we only have to discard 1 card. Or no cards. No cards. Even better. And it's their turn. We're going to give them a turn here. I mean, I say we're giving them a turn. Like we could have done anything else. But we end up... Yeah, we do end up discarding cards. Sorry. But we end up passing back because... But we pass back with all these blue cards. All these Force of Wills. Like... We drew on a few things here. So they're going to play an Ancient Tomb. They're going to cast a Time Vault. And if we end up in a situation where we have to pass back again, that just scares me. And we have an abundance of Force of Wills. So, you know, let's just not be afraid of this. So we force that. Then they play a Sensei's Top, which we're fine with. Not nearly as scary as the Time Vault was. There's a chance they just had a key in their hand, and if we'd let the Time Vault resolve, they would have played it. But then with the Saga being on 2, like, that puts us under pressure to have to win the game immediately if we don't counter time vault. So I think, just in the interest of being safe there, we went and countered that. So we draw our Worm Coil Engine, because we thought they were shops. We draw some cards. It starts pretty fun, except for the part where, we can't find the time vault. We'll get to that later. So they draw a card, they let it happen. We still have a million forces, a million blue cards. Let me just untap the ring. Why not? Draw more cards. There's a Lotus. There's a Mana Crypt. We can now PO with through the Flute. Since we're low on action, I believe that is what we're going to do here. Except this time we're going to be smart. We do actually end up leaving the original Jewel. We're going to actually, halfway into this PO, I realized, oh wait, we can choose the ring to draw some more cards. Or the key with the ring. So we do that. So we play another Mox. So we drew more Mox in. Here we're going to play... We're just going to Otawara away the Disruptor Flute so we can PO as we choose. I do really like how Tezzeret provides you both the ability to get mana or 1 mana answers, but also in a deck like this where you can pick up and replay your artifacts. The ultimate is, an alternate win condition, very similar to what Urza Saga used to be in this deck. Of course, there's only one Saga now. Having kind of that backdoor plan is a good option in a situation where, like, if you get null rotted, but you just jam a bunch of... Like, if they have null rot, not a lot else going on, you can play a Tezzeret, just jam your artifacts into it, then ultimate it, and then all of a sudden your artifacts turn into soldiers. I already found our Academy, which makes us happy, because now we have infinite mana after that second PO. Yeah, we just are kind of going ham here. We know we have the key. We also have the Tezzeret, so we're thinking to ourselves, haha, we'll make a time vault. We'll win this game. It's going to be great. Which we could have if there was a time vault in our deck. So, fortunately, we don't draw way too deep looking for it, but we did have the time walk, and we have some metamorphs. So anyway, at some point here, I'm going to realize I should just cast the Tinker and get the vault. So first I'll make a Tezzeret emblem just because we can, and if I thought that would be cool to make an emblem. It doesn't really do a whole lot this game because reasons, but it is there. And then I finally realized you can just auto-wield the Tezzeret triggers because that seems smart. Here comes the key. Play a few more artifacts out. Because, why not? We could just make a second emblem. I kind of figured to myself, I wanted to see how quickly it would turn the game around, when it, in a time vault situation. Because, let's put a time vault into place. We're going to cast this ring before we activate our Tezzeret Academy. Just want to get as much stuff as we can. Again, we still have a bajillion Force of Wills and lots of stuff going on. So, we're in kind of good shape. All right, here we go. Let's tinker. Let's get our time vault. Except there is no time vault. We're going to find out real soon. I don't know why I'm thinking about this. I just want to pitch that monolith. Yeah, we can get a ring, we can get a Mox Sapphire, or we can get a Mana Vault or a Metamorph, but we cannot get a Time Vault. So this is awkward. It makes me really glad that we countered their Time Vault. So I'm scrolling through my hand. No Time Vaults. No Time Vaults. No Time Vaults. No Time Vault. I'm very confused at this point. But you gotta be careful with this sometimes. If you're hastily cutting cards to put new cards in your deck, sometimes these things, they happen. You look in the sideboard, no time vaults. At some point, I'm gonna have the brilliant idea to go look in my deck list and realize there's no time vault there either. So, that's fun. So we're like, well, how do we go forward from here without the time vault? well, let's do this. We'll play a Worm Coil. We'll copy the Worm Coil. We will clear our hand again one more time. My opponent is asking me to just end the game, and I'm telling him that we don't have a time vault. Let's check one more time. Maybe it's in the sideboard. Did we hide it in the sideboard? No. Nope. Okay, good talk. Good talk. It's not there. I guess in the interest of being more resilient Null Rod, you could just, not play the time vault. We look back at our deck. Nothing. No time vault. Like, Okay, well, mistakes have been made. The good news is we do have a time walk turn rolled up, and we can make lots and lots and lots and lots of scary bodies because we thought they were on the other deck. So we play a Masticore. Our hand is ridiculously full, so why not? Let's just, jam a second Masticore. We have a Tezzeret emblem. We have a Worm Coil, another Metamorph to make yet another Worm Coil. So here I thought we were passing to them. I completely, by this point, have forgotten about the time walk turn that we were getting. We get to put some +1/+1 counters. I think I just throw them on the Masticore because why not? One of the Masticores. So forgot we had the time walk turn rolled up. So we pass the turn. We discard all the lands, because why not? I thought we were gonna end up like I said, I forgot that we had another turn coming. So just keep all the blue cards in the forces, and I figured it's gonna be really hard for them to put together a storm we couldn't weather with this. So we'll just keep all our counter spells. If I knew what I was doing, and I knew that I was playing without a time vault earlier, I think there's a scenario where I could have rolled up enough mana without tapping the Academy to have all those things open. But then again, we had a time walk turn coming, so it was kind of irrelevant. We just put together an army and attack with it. And yeah, that's our first match with Tezzeret. And anyway, so thought I would just throw this on YouTube because why not? And hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, because here comes all the creatures and the game's over. Anyway, good game to our opponent. We had two really, really great hands in game 1 and 3. Game 2, they came at us with the chalice, and we were not ready. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.